Friends, as we continue on with the CEA Fall Valorant Tournament, we are in week 3 right now, as we've already seen some very stellar 2 weeks ahead of us in this 8 weeks of Swiss to start over the course of this season. I am your caster, RichRad, here with ManofClass. We're changing up the duo for today, but it's going to be a fun one. How you doing, ManofClass?
Look, I might not have the looks, but I have the beard to cover it up, so it's all good, RichRad. We're here for some CEA Valorant, and of course today we've got Red Hat taking on General Motors, and on the map split, there will probably be at least one victor. That's how you split it, right in the middle.
Yes, indeed. And we've seen some great teams already coming out these last couple of weeks. We had our pre-show yesterday, which was an awesome opportunity to speak with Zweigus, the captain for General Motors, and also having I'm always going to say it wrong because even he said in the interview, there's no real pronunciation to it. It was randomly generated, so he just likes to see how it's spelled or said in that sense.
Yeah.
Mesa Lido from Red Hat Uplink, and it's going to be a really exciting one. There were a couple really good discussions. The most specific one that's we're really interested in is seeing if Zweigus can come out on this Viper. I know we talked about it just before the break, and Viper's not been too much in the realm of relevancy, mana class, but I would still be
No.
interested to see how that could come out here and what kind of plays we could see, revolving around it.
True, and if there's one map where I've seen Viper do a lot of work, it has actually been split. Mainly when Viper is able to, on the defense, hold up on B heaven, oh sorry,
Mhm.
A heaven actually, A rafters. Just throw in those smokes consistently in the long hallway towards A. It's very effective to just ban out long peaks. You can only really go through that with a rush, and then there's toxic screen in the way. That's not what you want. So Viper actually quite an interesting pick to see here, but of course Swygoose still has the option to not use it. So we might be counting our change before we actually get it.
True. And before we count the change, we're going to actually just quickly say for those that are interested, again, for finding out more for CEA, being involved with corporate esports association, that, it allows you and your corporation to be involved in these types of environments. So find out that information below as we get into this, though, is it's going to be now here on the screen. We've got the red link or Red Hat Uplink, let me get that right, on the defensive side first with General Motors or Generous Motors on the attacking side.
When we see the Viper, it's here, RichRad,
Mm-hmm.
together, indeed, with quite some difference in the team picks. They really only overlaps are the Breach and the Omen of all things. Everything else is different, and that's what you like to see in a game. The longer it's been out, the more the teams find their styles. I'm all for it. Especially, I'm just curious about Breach. What's Breach gonna do? And curiously, no jets. No jets to make use of that operator.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see that there's no jet in this. And I mean, again, you also make the notation of the breach. Again, there was that recent patch update where the additional flash came out and its ability rotation. So there's a lot more oppression that can come out either on the attacking or the defending side. But this is really a slow push from both teams right now to see if they're just going to really wait it out and see who makes the first move.
And I
Kind of
would
moving
like to
into
see how this killjoy's moved. Ooh, let's go.
yeah, Game Void, though, that big focus we were talking about during that interview yesterday, gets a decent change around the corner, manages to pick up one. The Reyna being very aggressive, has to watch out, though, dropping down towards A. A lot of focus here on the low ground. Flash going to come through, so you do have Macelido. I'm still going to say that incorrectly, but I know he's going to laugh at this at the end of it. Macelido gets one. Also, Game Zoid as well. Again, that big focus on who we want to look at. Spike's been planted, and now these two are still looking to collapse down as a smoke blocks that back way. This is still an interesting place now for Uplink to be in.
Not a whole lot of room for error though. Very few, and that turret is gonna be a big, well, problem, but not for our shoot count. Gets Nana Pussy out of the way.
Tuna pushing
2v1 here.
forward. Ooh, you got that pick on the high ground. Gamezoid finishing it out right now and doing very well. Got 3 to their name at the start with this Ghost.
Yeah, it's good start, honestly, coming out here on that attack. Generous Motors so far taking that, and dumps the bomb immediately, going for a scout here, not for the operator yet. Doesn't really have that cash, of course, to spend, but looks like they want to go for more of a sniper play throughout the entire map. That would be their sniper. It's always good to know which player to look out for in that situation. But so far, Zweigoose, Gamezoid, they've been leading their team to victory.
And now with The second round beginning, still a lot of A focus, but the Spike is playing more towards that middle section to see if there's going to be an opportunity that hitting on you does get a decent engagement, but has been sought out by the drone. And Sova gets that ricochet here for the recon bolt, has been taken down all the while over by A. There's still a lot of dominance here. Doms gets a pick here with the Marshall in the backside. Does have the breach, turn the corner, blocking sightline, and it's going to be a great pickup to go down in the midst of it. I'm going to be actually forcing out one player remaining, though, all the while. Mesalito, unfortunately, getting rounded on the corner by Gamezoid, and that will be another round here going to Generous Motors.
Yeah, generally, of course, an expected round to go over you when you are forcing your enemy to still be on the eco. But fortunately for the side of Generous Motors, they actually for the side of Red Hat Uplink, they kind of got a bit of a boon by getting a few kills here and there, and that does keep the economy relatively even, meaning that both teams are now on rifles, and there's actually still some SMG and Bulldog action going on the side of the Generous Motors. Good way to start out this round, and this could be the one that they can bring it back and just make it a 2-1.
And with that focus, once again here, same strategy. This is the one dynamic that I would like to see Red Hat try to adapt to. It's been constantly this 1-1-3 in rotation. Spike going to stay more over towards A, and you've got even that Sova play that comes out from Tuna towards that middle section with the drone. Now with hitting on you, gets the flash out up front, trying to see if they can blind anybody through the wall. Gamezoid, beautiful coordination between these two, managing to get that follow through and just lead Gamezoid into this. Little bit of usage of the shock bolt into the corner, not going to get much value as you've got Doms actually finding the Omen, gets a nice exchange here, and this is where you've got Red Hat finally taking the advantage over GM. Tuna looking to still play this high ground, ricocheting the arrow for that recon bolt to see as it's really now only Zweigoose on the outside, no Spike to their name, and this is going to be a tall order for any player to try and change this up, but a nice backline flank gets won. There's still an opportunity here for Zweigoose to pull this off.
Yeah, still full health and armor as well. Could be very good, but doesn't hit that hit shot. Now Pusu ready for the angle. Gets that kill with the Phoenix on that Viper. Overall, I've been liking the rotations coming out for Generous Motors, but they have been relatively repetitive with their attempts. I think that's why now they're sort of trying to switch it up to B. But on the other hand, if you are Red Hat Uplink here, you could expect that. It's like, okay, they just do 3 pushes on A. It finally didn't work. They're probably going to try something else this time around. And the main call seems to be going up to mid, just to mid ramps, trying to get through the middle room or through vents potentially.
Yeah, I think Vent would be a good position to do that. But now you're going to see still a little bit of, I think, unconfirmed direction. And actually, it's going to be Generous Motors still focusing that 1-1-3. Spike's been placed into sewers for the time being until they can find a better opportunity to engage on this. You've got the Viper smokes ready as well. Again, that typical usage has always been very difficult because once you place it, you can't really get it back in that sense. So it's really slow, methodical play coming out from Generous Motors. There is going to now be the Hunter's Fury coming through, getting some vision, a decent pick onto Killjoy, gets the takedown. So Tuna comes in big with a wallbang as well from Nanner. That's going to be a 5 versus 3 here, and Generous Motors is finding themselves in a very precarious position, but there's at least a pickup coming out to kind of even the score.
Zweigoose falls on the other side. So it's still a 4v2 here. But now we get in a 3v2 situation where the rotation to B could be very free. There's still a lot of Cypher utility in the way. So they will be spotted. That's not going to be the issue. They're at least going to be having a more free rotation by not running into those 2 players that are holding mid or the one that's holding A.
30 seconds left.
There's also an opportunity to be a little more aggressive if Generous Motors wants to take the advantage. 2 ultimates available from both the Omen and the Reyna. The Empress could come out. No, but a double kill comes out up top here by Mesalito. And that's that confident play by the Breach. Again, something that he has been playing since this game's inception and felt that he might change, but feeling confident with that recent patch note to be playing this dominantly.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, those patch notes have changed quite a bit in the game. I mean, it might not seem huge to everybody, but, you know, the higher level you get, the more the small numbers start to make the difference. And now we get into a situation where both teams have won 2 rounds. Both economies aren't looking great. We still don't see any operators. We still see a lot of, still see a lot of rifles, of course, for Red Hat Uplink since they won 2 rounds in a row. This will probably be an eco coming out from the attack, and they are likely to lose it. But I'm always willing to see some fun upsets. With the headshots, you can do anything.
And you can see both breaches prepped and ready. start unleashing their ability rotations. A nice takedown comes out early onto Mesalito. And again, with this eco push, being a little bit more reserved, you've got Tuna managing to get another, looking for the second. Unfortunately, gets picked off on the reverse side. As you've got Cam moving down towards the point. Doesn't have the spike, though. Needs to be careful. The Killjoy and the Viper play remaining from Generous Motors. Looking now, does get flashed here by the Phoenix. Hiding behind the box. Actually comes through big here. Dom's managing to pick up one. Needs to rotate back, but does get low, and now solely leaves, again, Zweigoose searching for a gun, which is actually a very good pickup moving into this, which leading into the Ghost could have an
Oh, they don't know.
here.
They really don't know, Rich.
That's the second time now that you've seen Zweigoose find hell. Oh, this is going to be a great pickup.
I think he saw the foot.
Peeking this corner, looking for it. The pickup's going to be huge. Here's Zweigoose finds it. Does come up short as Cam with the pick. Unbelievable response and reaction to that. That's a great change up there. Even though Generous Motors had the early advantage of knowing their position.
It's really close. You saw that mouse just flip to the right, and I don't know why. I mean, you had the crosshair placement completely correct. You were gonna have that first shot, but somehow the crosshair moves into the wall and then back, and then that's the exact moment when they peek. Get the shot advantage. It's sometimes the small things, especially in a game like Valorant, where you just have to hit those headshots a lot of the time. Now there will be a semi-eco coming out here. That one pistol onto a Hell Energy. Hell Energy. Wow.
Yeah.
I almost got it. I almost got it straight away. Yeah, I know, right? I did too much Latin and Greek in high school. I'm sorry. Get those A's.
It's all that big brain knowledge of Latin, and I have no idea or anything about Latin. So
I forgot everything. Don't get me wrong.
No, pig Latin. I could probably do pig Latin.
Yeah, I can't do that. That's my thing. I can't follow that.
Ooh, but there's already a pick coming out in here from the side of Generous Motors, but a nice exchange back and forth. Hitting on you goes down, and also a mid-lane exchange. You've got now only two remaining. Once again, Generous Motors had the ultimate economy to go into this to try and take advantage, but unfortunately with the rotations that Red Hat Uplink have, Doms again comes in big with a pick. Now tosses the Swarm, forcing back the Sova. Doesn't really get much damage onto the Sova play, but now we're needing to be very careful. You've got Zweigoose again finding a flank onto Hella Energy. Hella Energy's like, I need a cam on my back, but you've got Tuna coming in. The spike's actually planted here, and Doms using the ultimate, making sure that nobody can get into this space for the time being is critical, and looks for a rotation to get the pick on these last two of Red Hat.
Yeah, it doesn't really want to stay near the spike, but alarm bot has been triggered. Now they know there's a few players coming out from the tower, but they're not looking at the spike angle. Look at it. Look at it. No, you're missing it. Oh, missed both.
There's going to be a chance now. Doms has to play this perfectly. Looking to... No! There's going to be Nanner getting the pick. Ah, oh, what a great response. That's again a couple of times where Generous Motors has an opportunity of taking advantage of their opponent because of their patient play, but unfortunately falling a little bit short when it comes to the execution on those final picks.
Yeah, those rotations have been beautiful. Like, honestly, Red Hat Uplink has no idea where half the team is often. And if you have that positional advantage, then all you need to do is hold the right angles, and that's where Generous Motors has often been falling short, where they're just indeed on the execution, which is mainly holding the right angles and looking at the right place at the right time. There's just a little bit of game sense that every now and then escapes you, or is just a bit unpracticed. But they'll get there, 100%. I mean, I definitely see them coming back into this.
And they're changing their focus, spike over towards B near garage. First time we've seen them attempt that rotation to get to that position. Viper now having the smoke towards the mid lane, and you've actually got an early takedown up front onto Tuna, which again is the big primary focus that we were told to keep an eye on. So again, that individual doing very well. There's also a great rotation through that mid segment to also take a numbers advantage. Generous Motors in a good spot now to drop towards B. Only two remaining left. Mesalito in the back with the breach, having to be careful. The Omen takes a really wide outside position to the outskirts of garage to try and collapse in. Gamezoid does get spotted out, is going to plant, and also since the dart is on them for location, you do have confirmation from Red Hat to know that that spike is being planted. Will they look to press in on this, though, is the real question.
I mean, they sort of have to. You can't really just sit there, but it does look like Zwygoose just goes a bit too far out and just gets taken down. Caminator on a tear now.
Oh, Caminator coming in big. What a beautiful coordinated play. There is so much relying on the shoulders of hitting on you. Looking for the Omen pick once again. They find it this time, though. Generous Motors. They've lost 2 exchanges prior when peeking a corner, but they've found a third in their favor, and it makes it a 4-3 with Red Hat only ahead by 1.
You still make it so close, though. Caminator getting 2 picks there, and then also they're finding another one. It's clutch factor that's definitely coming out here on the side of Red Hat Uplink, where, yes, it might sometimes be an execution mistake coming out from Generous Motors, but they do also still have to capitalize on them. They do it beautifully most of the time.
And, you know, this is one of those things I was talking, and I felt from the interview yesterday that this is going to be a very close match. These teams both have very wide range of skill levels in this game for their 5 members. And they're going to start out with a Hunter's Fury, though, coming out here from Tuna. Once again, looking for an execution. Doesn't manage to get it the second time around and committing a lot of their abilities. Recon Bolt comes out as well since wasn't able to gain anything from the Owl drone. You've got Mesolito as well on the opposite side here towards A point. Looking for a decent pickup. Manages to get one onto Gamezoid, so that does only focus the 4 remaining towards that middle section. Generous Motors getting taken down again by Nanner. Hitting on you, jumping towards the side. Making sure to evade where that Viper smoke is. Getting some shots into the open mid segment, but can't really get too much here. And there could be a rotation away from this, since Zwygoose is playing a little bit more defensively here in the back, but actually picks up a takedown onto Tuna. And now it makes it still an even 4-3, but Generous Motors aren't out of it yet and need to play this corner carefully, which Hella Energy is now going to force out the Neural Theft. All collapses in. I almost feel like the Neural Theft wasn't needed there, but they wanted to secure that they knew exactly where these were to continue their lead from Red Hat.
Yeah, and with such a lead, you know, you keep sometimes just not using ultimates. It's one of those things where there's always debate about like when is it worth to use it, when is it not, and oftentimes you'll hear people say just use it not on cooldown, but use it more often than not, because otherwise you might have only 2 ultimates in a game where you could have maybe 5. So not at all surprised about that. Now, when we look at the economy here, Generous Motors is still pretty down on it. It's been Red Hat Uplink that really have been able to be on top of it. And they keep being able to buy the rifles, keep buying the armor, keep buying everything. It's great. For them, at least.
Yeah, their econ has been really great going into this and management so far. Even with the few rounds that they've lost, some decent pick damage coming out. Hitting on you needs to be extremely careful. Getting low. There is a cleanup once again. Red Hat Uplink really playing this defensive position well. And you've got Dom still keeping a focus now as they head up ramps to regroup with the rest of the team. Zwygoose on the front gets a nice pick here, though. Looking to drop down ropes to see if they might find an opportunity in rotation. The Cypher Trap does get a link grab onto 1, but honestly now this rotation from Generous Motors, making sure that they can go over to B, secure it. The 2 that remain from Red Hat have to come across, and at this point they might not even risk it if they want to keep their economy that they have. They've at least got a couple of decent weapons, but Mesolito still finds 1. Oh, and there's that lovely little bot in the hiding corner. I mean, honestly, this is going to be a really interesting play now. But Zwygoose, with the most notable patch adjustment to the Viper's Pit, is not going to be hurting his allies. And Red Hat is in a very, very difficult position.
Yeah. Great pick there on the Mesolito. This should be nigh impossible to grab back. With that little health that they have left, with the 3v1 disadvantage, and a long rotation that's still on the board, it looks like they're just going to go for a save. I don't think they're actually going to try and challenge this.
Yeah, you can just see Caminator's just like, I'm going to hide in the corner amongst the smoke if it's active, so I can at least carry this weapon over into the next round.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, yeah, you've had a good economy run, but don't damage it when you don't have to. You know, they still got 6.4k in reserve, save most of their armor and their rifle. I mean, that's what you want. That's what you need. That's exactly the economic awareness that you can't play with. Maybe they're looking to actually buy an operator for Tuna. No, they just bought a rifle. That's fine.
I was gonna
That's
say,
right. They could do that. They could do that because they had the extra money.
And again, it's those generous, kind gestures of handing off a weapon to your ally, which was necessary in this point. Oh, it's going to get a nice stun onto the Omen here. If there's a quick collapse and rush onto this, it might be an opportunity. But a flash comes through in return. Hitting on you, does use the double flash. A triple flash here. Nano comes in from overhead on the ramp. Having a difficult time, but I cannot believe the amount of resources that were used for Generous Motors on that ramp position, and Red Hat Uplink still managed to find the advantage. Nader gets the final execution onto GameZoid, and my goodness.
It's not just an advantage. They just decimate them. 4 left. Like, if you lose a few players, you clutch it out with, like, 1v1 in the end, then maybe all those resources invested, it feels like it was kind of worth it. But still losing a round this decisively with everything invested, that doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel very good if you are Generous Motors. I will say, though, I've been looking at that lineup, and it does feel like they will have more power when they're on the defense than on the offense.
Agreed.
So it is possible that just in general, with the defensive advantage we see in Valorant and with the lineup that they should be okay in the split. And picking up 4 to 5 rounds is still quite decent on your attack on most maps.
Absolutely. To transition into that with a more defensive dominant composition is a very good thing and a positive feeling. Run it back, going to come out by Nanner up front. Not going to get any value. Doesn't really gain any intel either, since the smokes were there from Ara. And now still a decent focus here. A little bit of a split. Zweigo's getting a nice takedown, though, over by A to make it look as if there will be multiple members over there. But Ara actually gets another follow-up. Trying to escape and flee was the Sova play. Phoenix up top manages to get the counter. Nanner constantly looking for those follow-up executions, which has been very valuable here for Red Hat Uplink. Zweigoose now moves back towards mid. You've got Lear to block the sight line as you have the Phoenix play hiding behind the box. There's too much fire to prevent it. Now to the inner left side, you've got the Cyber Swarm looking to get some decent prevention moving forward. Hella Energy at least taking down Doms, though, to rotate up. Looks for the wall bang, not going to matter. There's the pickup, and you've got the regeneration of health with the Reyna, but it's actually just going to be, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to go straight to drop the spike. And once again, you find Mesalito in a position to try and take this back all by themselves with this breach play. Looking to be very careful, going to maybe force the flash here. Oh, as awareness of somebody being down below, but Zweigoose gets the pickup. And now we're going to see this even opportunity, 6 versus 5. Generous Motors feeling confident, still moving into this before the half switch.
It was another successful rotation by Zweigoose. I think that's kind of been a theme of this so far. Generous Motors, with their outlandish rotations, just being able to get behind players outside of Red Hat Uplink that are just not ready. But there it is. There is finally that sniper that we've been waiting for. The operator from Tunakato. It was about time.
I mean, really, we're this many rounds in, and it's the first time we're really getting an opportunity to see it, and I'm really curious to see how much value it's going to gain here. There's a lot of focus, though, over towards A, where Tuna's not going to be able to find much value. GameZoid takes the lead here, getting rid of Mesalito, who has been very dominant so far on this team. Red Hat just needs now to focus on this rotation, be very careful. Doms takes out another. You've got Hitting on You also picking up a great pick. There is the Killjoy zone going to be active, making sure that this spike is easily planted. No concern at all. A takedown from Hella Energy at least, but you're going to get stunned in the central section of that, and Tuna is just a sitting duck, a risky play to press into that ultimate, and now it is a 6-6. This is going to be tooth and nail between these two teams.
It really is 6-6, but now we talked about it before. Generous Motors on their defense with their, arguably defensive favorite composition. So this lineup could very well just run away with it in 6 rounds and we'd be done.
Not
well, 7.
Yes, you're good. You're good.
7.
Lucky number
Yeah,
7. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We'll toss that one to the wind. That might just be the random one that somehow somebody picks up. But as we take a look at it going into this, we've got Hitting on You, going to prep in defense over by A. And honestly, I'm really concerned about how Hitting on You is going to manage to handle this. Possibly all 7 coming out on the attacking side from Red Hat. Smoke comes out into the backside. A nice signature play coming through. A lot going to be forced into this as you've got the trap as well. Tuna going to peek in with the rest. All 5 are here. So there is a great knowledge and awareness of this as the Paranoia comes out onto Tuna. Gets very low here. Ara gets 1 with the use of the Paranoia. though. There is still a decent exchange coming out of this. You have Red Hat still going to look for some value on the top of ramps, but their health is so low. The spike also just being picked up. Mesalito coming in big again, just with these clutch peaks and getting this value. Tuna and Mesalito are actually going to look to try and go to swords, but they're going to find themselves running into the Killjoy. You have so little health. The swarm is going to secure that you are running back into it, and now find yourself in a 2 versus 1. You've got 45 HP. Zweigoose, as we've seen before, looks for some great sneaky picks here, and that could be the kill necessary. And honestly, interesting to see who is able to pull through on this.
35 seconds, and I think Tuna is just waiting for someone to chase them, but you're on the attack. You have to make the move here, otherwise this timer's going to tick down. You wanted the spike plants, and the longer you leave yourself, the more surprise, but also the more rush you have to execute with. Tuna's now going to go through that A long up to the A site. That's where they have to plant the spike. They won't make it to B in time. And they're going to be able to do that just behind the wall. Won't be able to be spotted in time. And it's curious to me that Zweigoose is not even attempting to look at that site. Not even holding the tower.
Playing extremely careful. The recon bolt comes out, but has been picked off. The information is already there. Looking to bank that poison orb out on the front and going to... Oh my goodness, Zweigoose! Stop it! That quick lightning fast shift and found the dome of Red Hat Uplink, managing to make this a 7-6 on the defensive side.
That's somewhere between the 90 and the 180 that was flicked there over there. That's we don't call that a flick anymore. We call it this we call it a Zweigoose, right? A swoosh, a Zweigoose.
There you go. Either that, or you can just be like from a lot of others where they just got the goose. Gotta get that long run title.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you know, we'll ask them maybe after what they think is going to be better. But yeah, I mean, defense so far working out. Of course, it was just a pistol round. It was a long one though. It almost looked to be very dominant in terms of generous motors. But I'm very happy that this clutch potential is still there on the attack side of Red Hat Uplink. Now, of course, they're going to be running into this with a full eco. Not going to be too happy about that, but it's expected. You lose the pistol round, you have to deal with it.
And you can see some pings coming out, acknowledging where the positioning is. Nanner attempts to try and force the peek out here. Zweigoose is going to actually go for it, but you've got this rotation. Already one pick coming through. You've got at least a little bit of low health value. The Sheriff not going to get the pick necessary on Generous Motors. So now you've got, again, this numbers advantage for Red Hat Uplink. Constant back and forth with all 4 members going over from Red Hat Uplink. The thing is 2 members are quite low in this, and there's a pick coming out from Gamezoid. Zweigoose looking to take that full long rotation. Mesalito manages to at least plant this. But now that you're the only player remaining with just about 45 HP, that's quite the challenge to take here. But it's going to have to force his team to attack. Does get a nice response here. Mesalito going to look for 1. Does almost get the 2nd, but that, again, is a wish and a dream. So you will now have Generous Motors taking this next point and feeling pretty good on this defensive side. You were very right about them feeling confident with their composition on the defense.
Yeah, it's definitely so far looking to be going in their favor. And of course, they're getting closer and closer to that place where the pressure is on for Red Hat Uplink, where they need to be able to win a few rounds in a row in order to make it at least even and not put themselves in a position where they just have to keep force buying.
And now as we look into it, yep, the force buy. You can see a decent amount of currency accumulating for Generous Motors. And again, there is still a very, very big buy on this, and it's such a risky play right now at this present time for Red Hat. You're forcing everything that you have. You have to make this round work to try and carry into the next, because if it doesn't, you're sitting at another eco rounds where you're, again, gonna basically allow Generous Motors to have the advantage.
You know, it's funny, right? Because we were told that Nanner and Toon were going to be the ones to watch out for, but so far, Mesalito has been very impressive on that breach. Hitting a lot of those headshots. I mean, Nanner, of course, comes in with it now, as I say that, you know, we're talking about someone else, but yeah, Mesalito, been liking their play.
Absolutely. They were the player that we interviewed, and again, they were just being modest, not throwing their own name into the mix. And honestly, Red Hat Uplink has been doing very well on this push right now. Again, this is a very important eco spend. Oh, but Cam needs to be very careful up top. Doesn't take too much damage. The armor has been reduced. Looking to reposition now. Out in the open, and gets
Oh,
taken down
no.
up top by Era, but also you find Tuna getting a pick of their own. So there's still 2 remaining on both sides. You've got Zweigoose playing that back outer position near A site. The Swarm going to come through to try and force them back. Zweigoose need to be careful. Tuna gets it. Now a lot riding on Zweigoose's shoulders. Looks to try and peek the corner. Mesalino takes that kill. And they really, really needed that round.
Yeah, it's good that they take it as well. They're in a 2-1 for this half. Only 1 round behind still. Just able to keep up. If you're not able to keep up, then eventually it's gonna get run away with. And now you will actually see that immediately Generous Motors doesn't actually want to buy. They just want to have maybe a Sheriff, maybe a SMG, maybe 1 rifle, but in general they're kind of low playing it. They're fine losing this round as long as they keep their economy alive, and I think that's a good play to go with. So far we've seen that they're comfortable in the defense, so why not play into the economy?
Yeah, the partial buy is a really, really good option right now for them to make sure that they can carry this over. But Nanner comes in with a double on this run it back, and that just gained so much value from that ultimate. And now you've got only 3 remaining. You've got Hitting on You moving up towards this top rafter area, but hesitates before pushing any further, waits for the cyber cage to go down. Can he get the flash? Manages to find hella energy, taking it out as Naner on the low ground gets another. You've got Tuna gonna drop that recon bolt, but actually is gonna get hit by the ultimate here, needing to be very careful as the drop and collapse comes through by Generous Motors. Hitting on You, rotating around the side, does not see Naner, unfortunately, as you've got Caminator on top, getting the follow through. Beautiful job here by making this an 8-8, and this is now where that partial buy, like you talked about, is going to be very helpful because they can still keep themselves involved in this next fight and not go completely pistol.
And that also means that we will indeed see a very even round. Hitting on You does seem to want to save most of their credits, just buys the armor. Nope, never mind. Does go for the Phantom in the end, or even the Vandal. It would have been good if they maybe saved it. You know, that might be an indication that they might want to go for an Operator or something in a round after. But it's right now just going to be a very even one. Just about a K of a difference in the overall net.
Got a lot of smokes coming out here in the early mid section. A real refocus. Caminator going to throw that Paranoia into that middle segment along with the smokes, playing aggressive, going forward with a teleport to get some vision just around the outside. Doesn't get
I don't think they know.
Though. They do now. Era finds the shoulder, but a smoke's going to come through. And this is going to be a very interesting play between Caminator and Era. The Omens going at it, but all the while you've got Gamezoid with that pickup on the defensive side. Red Hat Uplink now transitioning over towards B. Needs to watch out. Doesn't peek down below, and Doms gets the takedown. Tuna attempting to throw that recon bolt out there to make sure that they can get vision on where the opponent is. And you've got Zweigoose leading in with the Viper's Pit. Second time around, we're seeing it. A side angle comes out by Hitting on You. Tuna goes down. So much being committed to this to secure this pickup. And that is going to be a 9-8. Defensive wins the round for Generous Motors.
Yeah, and honestly, that Viper's Pit is such a good ultimate for that B side. So much better than on A, because on A, yes, you will cloud a lot of vision, but because the high ground and the oversight on that is so much better than it is on B, where you still have that big tower structure in the middle. It's just better. It's just a little bit more enclosed, even though there's the high ground aside. And so now that we do see that advantage, you also see why that partial buy is still rippling through in this round. Now there still be plenty of cash left. Of course, they didn't have to buy a lot, but you know, still nice to get the wins wherever you get them.
And speaking of wins, there's already an early pickup onto Nanner, who was stuck in the corner. Hitting on You, comes out big with a triple. Gamezoid wants to look for the follow-up to complete this round, making it a 10-8 scoring. Hesitation now comes out by Red Hat. Not surprised at all. Lear's going to be tossed up front. They need to get rid of that quickly. Does block one, looks for the other, but at least Caminator takes out one, but there is a quick response. The remaining members, Zweigoose going to flank the sewers just in case, and Generous Motor is inching closer and closer to this victory.
Yeah, just you thought when they were out, they just came back in. Honestly, just well played from Hitting on You. He's been holding that angle on A for so long, and those flashes and that ultimate finally working out is just a sight to behold. Like, I'm very happy that that works, and of course, I think a lot of viewers and a lot of us are probably very happy that Breach finally has this place in the meta. With that extra flash, it's really mattering. They're hitting a lot of them right now.
Absolutely. And, you know, when it came also the communication between hitting on you along with the assistance from GameZoid, just giving that intel to get the lead on the Phoenix was very critical. Gonna have a 1-2-2. We've got the Hunter's Fury coming out by Tuna, has gotten some value before, just kind of peeking around in those few corners to make sure that there isn't any disadvantage, but Ara heavily exchanging in that, only 9 HP. So that is practically an exchange, but still having that extra body is extremely valuable. As we've got the whole here,
As
generous mode. Still going to wait it
there,
out because this is slow and methodical right now, man.
it really is. But there's such a big difference between the attacking styles of these teams because you do see that Red Hat Uplink barely does anything with their rotations. They just sort of want to push one angle and then methodically clear it, and that's fine. But they don't really get as much value out of it as those weird flanks. So these are the long flanks that came out from players like Zweigoons.
Oh, gonna now have. See, this is just buying even more time. The fact that you've got this Killjoy ultimate, it's gonna force a retreat and a reposition. You've got Caminator going to rotate and force them actually over to A. Zweigoos, Reyna, and Killjoy are now close over to B. So this is a great opportunity to take advantage of this with it. But there is a response early. You can see every member of Generous Motors acknowledging this positioning. You've got the ultimate coming through by the breach in the back. Tuna gets clipped and manages to get taken down. That unfortunate pickup is going to lead into the follow-through. The Empress as well by GameZoid looks for the follow-through, doesn't manage to do so. Valiant effort by Red Hat through this difficult engagement, but Generous Motors still playing very well on this defensive side.
And now Red Hat has a difficult choice to make. Because if you look at their economy, they can like sort of force buy. Not really, they can't buy much with it. But they can also choose to risk letting this round go and then only winning every round after, which economy-wise would be more favorable because they can full buy every single time. But you do see that they kind of feel like they already want to force buy now because otherwise they'll be on match point for the remainder of the match, and that's not a position they want to be in.
Yeah, it's such a high risk, high reward right now. Play it safe to for sure, to put yourself in a position of where you have to win the last match, or attempt to do it here to gain another round to really start changing the momentum to actually take this back. So it's such a challenging position to be in, and I can just guarantee you right now the really careful plays, trying to get some wall bang into this. You've got the Lear taken down, Reyna getting overwhelmed. The fact that Generous Motors has already lost one, though, is a key factor in this push. Mesolito now going to move up, forcing that flash along with the Paranoid coming out by the Omen. Doesn't manage to find any value since all of Generous Motors has rotated back further, and I like this, the fact that they've lost one member. They're playing much more defensively, but now, all the while, you're going to have Era all alone with all four collapsing, does take out one in this and finds the advantage. All members from Red Hat Uplink are now going to rotate over, and this is getting so intense between these two.
And they're running back from the Phoenix. I don't think that was spotted out, so they can actually go for a very long rotation all the way through the mid, all the way up to a heaven, maybe even all the way through B if they want to. But Ara is right now the one that's pulling it back. Swigoose ticking in as well. A 4v2. This is a tough one to get back. Maybe they were spikes down. You don't have the members.
So we find ourselves in a position where this is now playing to perfection from Red Hat Uplink. You are going into this. You still have a decent econ buy with your credits, but you are not in a position of where you feel so confident, and this is everything on the line right now. Where you have now hitting on you, picking up that operator, though, my friend.
Yeah, it's finally there. And of course, they have plenty of cash to burn, so they can buy one every round from now on if they keep winning. But they only need to win one, so it's not even a problem. And because you force bought last round on the side of Red Hat Uplink, you'll still be lacking some armor and rifles on a few players. So this is the key round. And every round from now on will be key round until they win.
Cover does go out early here by Era with the smokes. Generous Motors still looking towards the mid. That's a great advantage. Nainer finding the pick down. With consistent pressure up towards this mid lane, you've got the Swarms trying to force them back. Again, the only key thing is to now not allow Generous Motors to reform here and take out one Owl comes out up top, manages to get at least some vision on this. Rotation now. The spike's actually all the way over towards B. Only one in the high ground, but the operator from hitting on you comes out big. Now pressing on the spike's gonna come through, does get the flash, has to force them back. Operator misses. Nanner on the backside does get a pick onto the Reyna. There needs to be a rotation here. 3-3, hitting on you, looking to keep that vision up top. Does get the body shot. That's gonna be 2-2 remaining now. But you still have only hitting on you with full health in this. Mesalito with this breach, playing these corners and having the assistance of the Phoenix Naner. Look for the shots in the backside. Does get taken down 1-for-1. It is solely going to be 150 HP. Paranoid comes out around the side. Generous Motor's going to look to peek one angle. Goes right for the spike. Is actually going to attempt it because they need to for the timing. But this should be an easy takedown. There's the kill. It comes through from behind. And Red Hat manages to stay in this and has a much better buy.
With the knife, exactly what they needed. But there's plenty of cash left to the side of Generous Motors. They're not in trouble whatsoever. They can all full buy, get the rifles for each other. Yes, there's no operator now, but you know they've done fine without it as well. They still need to win one round out of potentially, I mean, 3 that they can lose before they get into overtime. So it'll be completely fine if they lose another one or lose another 2. But they'd rather, of course, close it out right here. And this defensive split's very centralized. There's not really a lot going on in terms of spreading. They do it now a bit later because of the utility they set up early. And there's going to be a heavy rotation towards B and mid.
And you've got the turret. Oh my goodness, finding Dom goes down. Nanner acknowledges that the turret is there from the Killjoy. Oh, but Tuna, you've got Zweigoose just hiding in there, and they don't even see it in the smoke. The drone missed it. Now the collapse comes through. Red Hat, though, still actually manages to find it. Mesalito goes down. Zweigoose coming in big. He wants to close it out now.
No.
Zweigoose looking for the ace, wants it, and is quenching Forest. Era manages to get the pick, so it is only one member remaining. There's the pickup. Generous Motors in the end. The Viper play is real, and you have the completion. What a well-rounded matchup between these two, though, despite the loss going to Red Hat. That was stellar to watch.
Yeah, and Zweigoose, that was such a big brain play as well. They see the Phoenix running back come out of the smoke, and they're like, you know what? I won't shoot them. I'll go into the tunnel and either catch them as they're actually get run back, or see whoever is with them and kill those. It's just such a realization of abusing the ultimate against Phoenix rather than like Phoenix uses themselves. And it's those type of plays, the longer rotations, that Zweigoose especially, but in general, I'd say Generous Motors just were able to pull off a lot better. Their map knowledge, their map utility, their utility usage in general, it all seemed a bit more streamlined, a bit more planned, and a bit more, well, even more experimental, but experimental in an effective way, where it's not, it's looking a bit different than we often see, but it does work out because they know what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, it's just really exciting to see this. We've had a lot of more one-sided, but that's the joy when it comes to, you know, having this Swiss format, as you get some teams that come together that are really close, just fighting and dueling it out to really demonstrate their ability in this game of Valorant, and it's really exciting to see. I mean, we've been waiting for a match like this for a couple of weeks, and it's been very, very exciting to go through this between the two of them. And it looks like we're presently just in communication here with Zweigoose to see if they are able to have a follow-up interview, especially after that lovely triple kill towards the end to clutch out the finishing match to make it a 13-9 with Generous Motors taking this. But honestly, I mean, I almost want to, like, Zweigoose at the end had a lot of really great plays, but who would you say is the MVP overall, you know, from, I would say, either team? If we really wanted to talk about it, who would you think was like the spitting image of what you wanted to see going into this?
It's tough to say. I mean, if you look at an MVP, you usually want to go with like the winning team. So you say, okay, they really clutched it out for them. And with that last play, it's hard to deny Zweigoose to play. They did. I think they had a very solid performance. And even when you look at the stats as well, I mean, it's hard to deny that they were just sort of the best player in the lobby. I think the only one that got a better econ rating was Arara, who got about the same KDR. Like, it's really not that far apart. So yeah, I think overall, when you look at the way the tactics were executed, the way the plays were executed, the way clutches happened, I think Zweigoose was just a instrumental player in almost any of that.
Absolutely. And we're going to be able to speak with the man himself. So we're going to a brief break so we can get him in to have a very, I guarantee you, hype interview because he's probably feeling with this one after this round. So don't go anywhere,
Oh
friends.
yeah.
Hello and welcome back, friends. Like we said, the break was short. We've got the interview. We are here with Zweiggoose, myself is RichRad, here with ManofClass to interview the captain of the team. We had a pleasure speaking with you yesterday, and now we get to speak with you again as you have claimed the win here. But, as we had you enter into this channel, there was a little bit of a whoo kind of moment. We just got it.
Yeah, the adrenaline was still running. That last round was nuts. I mean, we made the decision to start on attack. I know we talked about it yesterday. We feel good with Gamezoid on Reyna, and the breach plays. It was feeling good. So like, all right, we're gonna see if we can start on attack on split, and we got that. But they had a really good defensive comp, and we were afraid to hit B with all the Cypher stuff. So we actually ended up having a really what it was like was it a 6-6 or a 7-5 first half?
Yeah.
I mean, it was close. So by the time we managed to squeeze through to the end, it was adrenaline, and I felt like an idiot. The round before we won, I pushed mid. I was like, we haven't done this yet, and sure enough, there's like two people there, and I got to give props to Nanner, dude. He was shooting like crazy, and
Yeah.
he made me pay for being an idiot and pushing.
Oh, man.
So it pushed us this extra round, right? It's just like we didn't want to give him momentum, but we kind of did because I decided to be a moron. So I mean, it is what it is.
Hey,
That's why
you
it's a
know
team
what?
game, right?
It was really great. Both teams demonstrating a lot of really great moments. I know there were a lot of moments where you found a lot of great opportunities in flanks and roaming, and it was just crazy. I mean, ManofClass commented on a couple of them where it was just like this really great rotation coming through, and it was really surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of alluded to it yesterday. When I get a chance to rotate with Viper or lurk with Viper, that's where I feel good, right? Even when I play Counter Strike, I was always the lurk dude on the other side, getting info, calling it out, and it just like with Valorant, being able to actually have impact from across the map like that with Viper, because I can put my wall, I can put my smoke, I can be there without being there, so it lets me just feel comfortable. And I didn't have to start getting too many frags for a little bit, but then I was feeling some pressure to do that. But no, it was I got to just kind of be myself, which felt good.
Yeah. No, like honestly, it was just a great game. I think that's something we can all agree on.
Yeah, it was fun.
Are you guys are you I mean are you like specifically looking forward to any other teams, or was this really the one where you were waiting for?
We take it week by week. I mean, I know
Cool.
some of the teams just from previous relationships and things like that, and so we've had some good scrims. So, but we've been trying to get some scrims against some of the Facebook teams, some of the West
Mhm.
Coast teams, and it's been a little tough. But no, we take it week by week. We do what we can, and we don't
Cool.
look forward to or run away from any one particular team. We just want to come out and play our best each week. And as you can see, even our best gives us a little bit of a moment to hold our breath. So week
I
by
mean,
week is the best we got, and that's still scary. So
hey, you know what? I mean, again, we were talking about we don't see Viper too much in the meta. You being the Viper main, taking the risk, taking out the comfort pick, and still coming in big. I have to still comment on that last round where you got that triple,
Oh
and you
no.
just
yeah.
hiding in that smoke. And
Well,
they missed it. They had the owl drone, and you just peeked in, and they like we're even talking like they don't see him. They don't see him, and you're
it was
just
a
like,
timing
"What up,
thing.
Sova?"
Yeah,
I
yeah.
tuned
I was scared. I really wanted to push in and try to get behind the Phoenix ult because
Yeah.
if he got dude,
Yeah.
he got me in heaven a couple rounds before as I was trying to leave. He like they tanked one of my mollies in heaven, and I gave him credit. It turned out really good for them. They just pushed. I did like 80 damage with one of my mollies. I just ran through it, and the Phoenix ult ate a lot of it. And I was like, I'm not getting owned by this ult again. So I wanted to push. I call it his legs because that's all you can see on the ground. So I wanted to
Right.
push Phoenix's legs, but as soon as I stepped out, I was like, wait, that was dumb. There's going to be other dudes here, and sure enough, Sova was right in my face, and thankfully I managed to turn that around. And I found 3 kills there, and
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
you
It was a
found the
timing
third.
thing stepping into that smoke. I
Yeah.
didn't want the Phoenix ult to see me, so it
I
was a
mean,
close
Yeah.
one for sure.
those clutch plays had a roar, my friend.
Yeah, good. That one was breathtaking, even for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, we were saying, oh, that's the big brain play. Ignore the Phoenix. If you shoot them, they know you're there, and they're just gonna
Yep.
run it back anyway. So might as well go behind it, try and see if there's anybody else, or catch the Phoenix when their ult runs out. That's another option, of course. So yeah,
Yeah,
it was a very fun play to see. But I mean, in general, like you said, like yeah, I definitely screwed the pooch a few times. Anyone else? Anyone else you want to call out for that or?
no, everyone else played
No.
perfectly, so
Okay.
that's why I'm
Okay.
glad that they were there to
That's
carry me through
completely
a couple.
fine.
Yeah, I
Cool,
almost bit the
cool.
bullet on the Viper change too because I forgot that I was still vulnerable after I left my molly, but I had to walk through it to get into
Mm.
B main. So
Hmm.
there was a lot going on in that last 3 seconds of the game.
Right. I mean, but hey, it's those critical seconds that all came
Yeah,
out to finally being able to clutch it. Because we were getting a little worried. We saw them play that round of 9, and they were able to shut down a big eco buy that you had. I mean,
yeah,
even though you still had a decent currency, you're just like, all right, guys, we can't do this. Like, don't let this happen.
it was close. It was fun.
The
That was
love
one of the more
comeback.
entertaining games we've had. Just the back and forth was really, really, really good. That was a lot of
Mhm.
fun.
Absolutely. No, trust me, it was fun for us. Like I said, that's the luxury and the positive parts of the Swiss part of it. I mean, you have so many coming together, and then you finally start to, culminate teams together that are in there, a
Yeah,
proper ranking or close in matchup. And this was definitely one to highlight. So we were very, very glad that we had both
yeah,
of you match up against each other, and GG's for both sides. So it's been an
yeah.
absolute pleasure speaking with you, my friend. Definitely go celebrate. You've got this weekend to be proud and say, all right, we got that one. And I was a Viper.
That's right. You can't be memeing on the Viper pick too much longer. It has proved
No.
it's usable. You
There
can
you
do
go.
it.
Ooh.
It can gain its value. So we
That's
hope
right.
you have a wonderful rest of your day, my friend. It's been an absolute pleasure, an exciting game for an exciting day. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening.
You two guys, good weekend. We'll
Alrighty,
talk to you
take
soon.
care.
Have a good one.
And for all of you that have been tuning in, that was quite a ecstatic game. It was an absolute pleasure to be here. I have to say, ManofClass, thank you so very much for tuning in and joining and being a part of this cast with me. It really was a fun one to have you join in on.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I drew the lucky one on that one. It's yeah, no. It's definitely good to get some Valorant in every now and then. So 100% enjoyed this one, Rich.
Well, and for those that are still tuning in, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. If you'd like to find out more about CEA, again, Corporate Esports Association, it is in the lower section where you can find out about all the different game titles that we have, 7 of them in total, that you can continue to tune in, support, and watch to see what charities all of these teams are pushing for and thriving for to put that #1 spot's money and revenue towards to help assist in everything that they need. And again, if you'd like to also find out more information, definitely go to the CEA.gg link because it will let you see if your company might be able to join and be involved for the next season that we look to have in the future. And maybe you can give some great screen time here yourself with a team of your corporation. So we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy gaming. Take care. And it's always a pleasure.